Chapter 21. Oriole and Alter flew at a comfortable pace, mindful of their mission's importance. Their strategy was to have Alter fly in under the guise of a seagull and speak with the beast as innocently as she possibly could. She would signal Oriole if and when it was safe to join her. Otherwise, Oriole would circle the island at a very high altitude, waiting for Alter's return.
You can see the island to our right.
Oriole said, pointing with her right wing.
That's the beach where they were before. I'd start there.
Alter nodded.
Understood. I'll begin my ascent.
Oriole said.
As you begin your descent. Good luck. You too,
Alter replied. And with that, the two birds went their separate ways. The winds were light. The day was just beginning. From Oriole's vantage point, the solar sphere was rising like a red ball of fire, only half of it shone over the sea. The sea was mostly calm, turquoise-colored with hints of ochre as the eye traveled to the island's shores. The island itself looked to be several kilometers across and was circular in shape. White sand beaches encircled it like a halo, with large black rocks peppering the beach and the shallow waters. As Alter came nearer to the shore, she could see many sea dragons, perhaps dozens, mulling around on the beach and in the shallow waters. However, there were no signs of a giant dragon the size of the beast. She glided over the beach toward the interior of the island, her head pivoting like a pendulum in search of the beast. Just past the beach, she saw something that caught her eye. There was a large, dark shape that appeared to be a cave entrance. Alter found a tree limb that allowed her to study the black hole in the side of a well-hidden ravine. There were guards outside the cave. Two sea dragons positioned themselves on either side of the cave's opening. The opening itself was massive in scale, perhaps 7 meters high and 4 meters wide. Its rectangular shape made it look like a giant doorway. Alter could think of only one plan: fly into that cave undetected. She planned to come in from behind and land just above the doorway's upper lip, and then walk to the very edge and glide off, making an immediate sharp turn inward before the guards could see her. When she arrived at the spot, she realized the guards would see her or her shadow before she could make the turn inward, but as a beetle, she was confident she would be invisible to them. She shapeshifted into a beetle and flew into the cave, immediately feeling the rush of cold air and a darkening as she flew deeper into its interior. Her first thought was that she would never be able to signal Oriole, so she was on her own. Her second thought was, why would anyone prefer to be in a cave on such a beautiful morning as this? She continued to stay as high in the cave as she could to enable a good view. The cave had lit torches at regular intervals that seemed to lead to a chamber further down the corridor. As she came to what appeared to be an opening, she could hear the rhythmic breathing of something very large. She stopped her flight and landed on the floor. There were no guards or even a door. She shapeshifted to her original form as a cervitaur and strolled into the dragon's lair unafraid. After all, this was all a dream, wasn't it? She was only a few meters across the threshold when she felt a stinging feeling creep down her spine. She immediately became immobilized. She was unable to move her eyes or toes or fingers. Every part of her was frozen in a slice of time that didn't move on. Even speaking was impossible.
Ah, a servitor.
A deep, resonant voice sounded like a choir of sea dragons. So many frequencies, modulations, and amplitudes. Alter could barely manage to translate them.
You are frozen in time in case you're wondering why you are motionless. I am able to freeze time like you are able to shapeshift, which I presume you did in order to get past my now deceased guards.
As the beast spoke, she turned slowly as any lumbering creature of her scale would do, bringing her full attention to Alter.
Your trespass could prove to be your last unless Of course, I can find a way for you to serve me. Will you serve me?
The beast, with the tiniest wink of her eye, unfroze Alter, allowing her to speak.
I will gladly serve you once I discover what it is that you are here to do.
Interesting. Why do you state it that way?
Alter looked down for a moment, a very brief moment, and then back to her host.
I cannot serve you without knowing what you want to achieve. Once I know that, then I can determine the best way to serve you, or even if my skills match your needs.
And what if I simply want to tell you how to serve me, and there is no information shared except that and only that? Will you serve me then?
Alter shook her head.
No, not until I understand you better. I have to understand before I can serve. Is that not true for you as well?
The mighty beast bellowed.
I do not serve anyone. You have all the traits of a rebel, and those are the very kind of servants I deem unnecessary to.
Aren't you bored?
Alter interrupted, knowing that doing so was a great risk she might regret.
I mean, don't you ever desire to have a challenging conversation? One that is full of interruptions, denials, claims and counterclaims, even philosophical forays? Don't you ever desire this?
You interrupted me? You think I'm bored? Are you trying to leave this world? For I will gladly escort you to the gates of heaven or hell, your choice.
The beast was larger than Alter had expected. It appeared heavier than obsidian, with more girth, yet its wings were much smaller. Its head was larger than obsidian, and its eyes were curious-looking orbs of indifference the size of huge boulders. Instead of being pitch black, it was a pinkish yellow with hints of gold at the very tips of its scales, and its skin shone even in the dim cave light with a pearlescent sheen.
Let me be clear,
Alter said.
I don't want to leave this world. I am an innocent wanderer who noticed this cave as I was flying around. I saw the guards, the now deceased guards, and using my stealth, I entered the cave, not knowing what I would find, but it surely was not in my interest to exit from this world. I assure you of that.
The beast looked at her calmly and with sudden curiosity.
You are not what I expected from a servitor.
Have you met one of my kind before?
No, but I have read, with great interest, the legends of your existence, though I lack direct experience with your species, you notwithstanding. I do, however, claim to know that your kind is legendary in your negotiation skills, and this is a skill that may prove useful to me in the days ahead. I will ask you again, will you serve me as a negotiator on my behalf?
What is it that you want to negotiate?
I first need to know if you are employed by me and exclusively by me. And before you answer that, know this. Your answer holds your life in your hands.
Alter blinked a few times, feigning surprise.
I will accept your gracious invitation for employment if you will accept my invitation for a conversation, possibly a lengthy conversation. If you are not bored, I certainly am, and all I need is a good, rousing conversation with a highly intelligent being such as yourself.
And if I indulge you, you will serve me with exclusive obedience to my tasks of negotiation?
The beast asked.
I will.
Alter bowed with a tiny bend of her neck.
Well done,
The beast intoned.
you have proven your negotiation skills with that singular move. The day has proven itself worthy of my wakefulness.
The beast's bedroom chamber was oval-shaped and massive, perhaps 40 meters wide and nearly 100 meters long. Its heights were lost in the darkness. Torchlights lined the chamber, but otherwise it was barren of furniture. There was, however, a round, cylindrical structure that looked like a stone well sitting in the middle of the chamber. Alter could see it was filled with a liquid of sorts, something viscous, like oil. Alter put her arms around herself, shivering a bit.
Is it possible for you to make a fire? I am quite cold in this cave.
That's right. You are half human.
The beast chuckled for the first time, turned to the well, and opened her mouth, spitting fire effortlessly at the well. Immediately, the liquid in the well burst into a smokeless flame, heating up the chamber.
Better?
Yes, thank you.
Alter said, gravitating closer to the well.
You are an impressive creature.
I am not a creature.
The beast instructed.
Tell me what it is you want to converse about.
Do you have advisors?
For what?
The beast asked.
To advise you?
I have not found anyone in this world or the previous one that could actually advise me unless it was on a subject I deemed unnecessary.
I see. You said previous one, meaning you remember your previous life?
Alter squinted her eyes as she spoke.
It is none of your concern.
Ah, I didn't realize we had placed constraints on what we could talk about. As for it being none of my concern, I can tell you this quite faithfully. I never ask a question that is not of concern. Otherwise, why would I ask?
The beast looked at Alter with suspicious eyes, and then softened her look, as if one indulgence would not hurt her. After all, she was to get a servitor to do her negotiations, a sparkling piece of luck she had stumbled upon.
I have come to this place quite recently. I was not born here. I arrived in a mysterious fashion, the kind reserved for gods. What about you? Are servitors common on this planet?
They are not, insofar as I have never met one. But like you, I was not born on this planet. Only a few days ago, I found myself in the unenviable position of appearing on this planet in a single flash, from one world to another in a fleeting moment of time that I can only describe as discombobulating. Perhaps I am a god too,
Alter said, smiling to herself.
There is only one God, and you are in her presence now.
Alter looked around the cavern.
Where?
One breath, and you are vanquished from this world.
I'm sorry.
Alter apologized as sincerely as she knew how.
Like I said, a challenging conversation. So far, it seems to be working out quite well.
Have you met other life forms on this planet?
The beast asked.
Yes, of course. They are abundant. I have met smaller sea dragons, the regular size, I guess. I have met werewolves, hundreds of those. I have seen deer and rabbits. I have met a human, a phoenix, and an air dragon. And someone, I can't say what they are.
An air dragon. Is it black?
That is the one. Have you met this obsidian as well?
No, I have only seen it from a distance.
Well, he is quite spectacular. Fire breather like you. Popped into this world like you. In fact, he might very well be a god like you. Can you fly? He flies like an eagle, but faster, much faster.
The deep rumbling of the beast was concerning to Alter, and she quickly changed the subject.
Why do you live on the land if you're called sea dragons?
I have decreed that we will become land dragons and then air dragons. We will be the species that can operate in 3 different mediums: sea, land, and air. And thus, my species will become the most formidable of all species. We will reign in all worlds.
Why do you want to reign in all the worlds?
Alter asked.
Because then our culture is the culture of all beings. We can all worship the same, pray the same, believe the same, and live in harmony as a result. If there is not a singular culture, then the universe would be destined for chaos, and chaos is just another word for destruction.
I see why you will need a negotiator to advise you.
You will not advise me. You will execute my commands, allowing me to avoid the tainting of other creatures.
The tainting of other creatures?
Alter repeated slowly to herself.
For example,
The beast said in a measured tone.
There are werewolves on this planet. I had never heard of them before. Yet when I saw them for the first time, I was tainted by their guttural expressions and their hideous look. They are not a species I would choose to intermingle with. They are obviously unintelligent and inferior in every way. Thus, in some small way, they would taint me if I were to meet them.
Alter looked up at the beast, avoiding her eyes.
The werewolves I have met are as tenacious as they are intelligent. I would not say they are inferior. I would say they are different.
Good qualities of a negotiator. You are able to see the good in evil things.
Alter warmed her hands near the flame and then swallowed hard.
Why do you think you are a god?
I do not think I am a god. I am. It is not an option to be anything else. Is it for you?
Yes, I am a servitor, not a god. I do not confuse the two.
Then perhaps you are underestimating yourself.
No, I am being honest with myself.
Are you calling me dishonest?
The beast's massive head moved closer to Alter's position.
No, I am speaking only for myself.
There was a long pause.
Who was your last employer?
The beast asked. Alter again swallowed hard and took a deep breath.
Their names are Adam and Eve. They are regular-sized sea dragons, but I don't think I could say they were my employers. When I first came to this world, I manifested in the sea. I do not swim, and they happened to see me floundering in the water, and they helped me to shore. They saved my life. I suppose I offered my services as a result of their kindness.
Are you aware that they are rebels?
No, I did not. They, never mentioned that to me. Are they in some kind of trouble?
I'm not so interested in them. What interests me is why these various creatures have suddenly appeared on this planet, and one in particular, Obsidian, as you call him. I would like to meet this creature. Can you arrange it?
Alter nodded.
I think so. But maybe it would be best to meet him in his own element. He's very shy among sea dragons.
And why is that?
There is a legend that you of the sea and they of the air have been in an eternal struggle. He knows this legend and believes sea dragons to be his enemy. He is extremely powerful. I imagine as powerful as you. However, unlike you, he can fly.
The beast chortled.
And unlike him, I can emit sonar blasts like laser beams that pass through all physical objects. I can breathe fire hundreds of meters. I can freeze time for almost a minute. I can swim underwater faster than any other creature, and I am worshipped by my people. Can your air dragon claim any of those distinctions?
Alter shook her head.
Perhaps that is why he is shy.
I will meet him wherever you specify. I will promise to be on my best behavior. I am only interested in meeting him, understanding his objectives, and then returning to my island.
Am I free to go then?
Alter asked.
You want to end this conversation that you so greedily negotiated?
Well, not really. I just had the impression that you wanted to meet Obsidian as soon as possible.
Ah, you might make a good servant after all. However, before you leave at my behest, I want to answer your question with more nuance. The one about why I believe myself to be a god.
Alter turned to face the beast, watching her eyes glaze over very slightly.
I am larger, faster, more powerful than any of my kind. I am more intelligent. I have, as I just enumerated, unique skills and qualities. All of these point to a simple fact. I am the queen of my people, of my kind. As queen, I am privileged to represent God to them, my entire species. That would include the air dragons. I am God in this world. I may not be the god in all worlds, but I am in this one. Let your air dragon know this. If he is with me, he worships me. If he doesn't worship me, he is against me, and I will use my considerable resources to neutralize him, cordon him off from this world.
If I tell him those things, he may refuse to even meet with you.
Alter advised.
Perhaps it would be better to mention those things when you meet, not before.
The beast nodded.
Yes, I don't want to scare him away before we even get acquainted. You say he's intelligent, like you?
He has a knack for boiling things down to their inner core. I think of this as a special form of intelligence. I can't say that I have it. I tend to look at things in all their complexity. He looks at things like a child, simple and direct. May I ask you one more question before I go? Really, just our curiosity and mostly admiration.
The beast nodded.
How did you learn how to stop time for other creatures?
The huge eyes of the great dragon suddenly brightened.
I studied time for many centuries. I learned how to project time scales in somewhat the same way I learned how to project fire from my lungs. After thousands of experiments, I learned how to speed up or slow down time for any creature within 20 meters of my proximity.
You're saying that if a creature of any kind steps closer to you than 20 meters, you can speed up or slow down their perception of time.
The beast nodded. Alter murmured in admiration.
You are magical indeed. How do your subjects, if I may call them that, worship you?
It is very simple. They do what I ask them to do, and they do it without question.
So there are no rituals like a religion would have?
Correct. Rituals are for mass hypnosis. I do not hypnotize my subjects. I organize them for my purposes.
Alter knew she was walking on delicate ground.
And what would you say is your highest purpose?
That is something I do not disclose to anyone.
Why? If I am to be your negotiator, I need to know what you are ultimately trying to achieve. None of us who popped into this world has any idea when we might pop back into our former world. This indeterminacy is enough to drive one insane. I do not need another indeterminacy to catalyze my insanity. So, please, tell me what our highest purpose is.
Well, first of all, I cannot tell you what our highest purpose is because it is not ours. It is mine. Second of all, I am not sure you have the mental capacity to understand this purpose, even in the oblique terms of language. Third, you do not need to understand this in order to negotiate on my behalf.
I'm beginning to think you don't really have a higher purpose.
Alter whispered.
What did you say?
The beast's tone suddenly shifted to anger.
If you know your highest purpose, you should be proud to cite it to anyone who asks. It has been my experience that if one doesn't express their highest purpose, it is because they don't understand it themselves. You obviously disagree, but I am only expressing what I have experienced. It probably doesn't apply to you, as you are clearly a superior being.
The beast seemed to compose herself. The redness in her belly dimmed a bit.
You are wise to probe and then fall back in your feather bed of apologies. I will grant you a small glimpse into my purpose here in this new world.
The beast closed her eyes for a moment.
You are correct. I am a superior being, and as such, I have a higher purpose than the inferior beings of this world. That higher purpose supplants the purpose of all others. It has to, or else we would worship idols, perform rituals, pray to the sky, and simply congregate for social welfare, while the higher purpose is safely tucked away inside arcane texts that no one really understands or even reads. My purpose is the purpose of all beings, and that is to worship the highest expression of life, and that is me. I am the highest expression of life, and it is obvious to the eyes and ears. It is indisputable. Thus, my purpose is to be the highest expression of life, and in being this, the lower expressions can find solace in my deeds and my actions through them. Thus, they allow my purpose to become their purpose.
I see. How did you come to this conclusion?
Are you suggesting it is the wrong conclusion?
No, I'm simply curious.
When I was a child, a very long time ago, I saw how my species was living in chaos. They repeated it over and over, as if they were blind to the expected outcomes of chaos. It hardened their lives immeasurably. which to me as a child seemed unimaginably misguided. It was then I realized they needed a guide. They needed to understand how to avoid chaos and the vicious cycle of inertia that accompanied it. They were drowning in their ignorance, in their lack of a higher purpose and understanding. I vowed to become this guide to my kind. As I trained myself, I began to realize that my guidance could be applicable to all species, and that is the definition of a god, that it is for all species. I formulated my plans. I perfected my expressions of godliness, and when I was just about to announce myself to my world, I ended up here. The first few days, I could only suffer that I was millimeters from my goal, and then callously flung into this world like a discarded piece of garbage. I decided I would establish myself here the same way I was about to do it in my own world. The creatures here were waiting for me and my message. It was easy to accept me as their god. And so, here I am.
Alter crossed her arms.
Why the violence then? Why do you need to show yourself as all-powerful? Don't your subjects fear you more than they worship you?
If they worship me in fear, they are still worshiping me,
The beast answered.
But not really.
Alter said out of reflex.
I mean, please don't take this the wrong way. I merely mean, isn't it better that your subjects worship you out of love and admiration?
That is not worship. That is love and admiration. I become one of them. For me to become their god, I must be perceived as all-powerful, or they will see me as a hollow echo of the real God. Power is the central quality of a god. So power is what I wield, and if my subjects fear my power and worship me as a result, it is simply part of the persona of a god. I embody that. I am that. There is a reason that I alone am the queen.
I might be confused,
Alter began.
but are you the queen of the sea dragons or the god of all species?
Ah, now you understand the principle of which I speak. I am in transition. I am transitioning from being the queen of the sea dragons to being the god of all species. I am the most powerful of the highest order of species. Therefore, it is incumbent on me to be God.
What if God already existed?
Alter asked, her voice trembling a tiny bit.
I mean, what if you were created by God, and then you evolved and trained yourself until you believed you were God, but then the real God, the one that created you, or at least the conditions that enabled you to evolve into what you are, saw what you were doing, and tossed you into this new world to contain you?
Alter swept her arms above her.
Like this entire world is a prison cell to you, is that even remotely possible?
The beast laughed.
I assume you see yourself to be in a dream, because only in a dream would you dare flirt with death the way you are right now.
Alter shook her head quite violently and thrust her arms out.
No, no, no. I mean no disrespect. I was always taught that there was a creator, and this creator was first born into all domains of consciousness, especially those of space-time, where creatures needed bodies, and evolution was an infinite journey of one moment moving into the next. You exclaim that you are evolving into God, but if God created you, then your evolution would be simply a renewal of an existing God. You cannot supplant the one who created you, can you?
Can a daughter replace her mother?
Are you suggesting God is not eternal?
No, I'm suggesting that God is not one being or state of consciousness. I'm suggesting that God is a fluid entity that absorbs and integrates with its chosen heirs. It is part of a succession, and I am next in line. My inheritance is to replace my creator, if there truly is one to even replace.
Who flung you into this world when you were so close to achieving your godhood in your previous world?
My predecessor.
And why?
Jealousy, I imagine. Either that or they are not ready to recede into the worlds of the uncreated.
Have you met your predecessor?
Only once.
And
Alter put her palms up as one would to feel rain.
You would not understand.
What if by hearing this experience, I could only worship you more, be an even better tool in your hands?
The beast exhaled loudly. The tiniest of sparks accompanied her breath, like a constellation of stars being spilled out into the universe.
You believe in a creator. I see a chaos out of which I came, all of us, really. But I am the one who is the highest of the high, and it falls to me to proclaim that God does exist, and I am that. You believe in a firstborn. Well, that may be true. Perhaps the firstborn is me. Perhaps I have been evolving the longest of all creatures because I was born first, and I have been traveling the longest, the farthest, and with every step I have taken, I have improved myself, until I have found out a simple truth, that I am God. When I look around, no one else understands this, and therefore they hold an inferior view, not only of themselves, but all other beings, except one, me. You see, all sentient creatures need to believe in something outside themselves. They need to feel a sense of reverence for something larger than them, stronger than them, wiser than them, more powerful than them. They desire this more than they desire to be gods themselves, and thus, I am born. I fill this need.
The beast sighed as if it was tiring of the conversation.
If God pre-existed and tossed me into this world to imprison me, then I would discover it. I would already know this to be true, because I am a queen of the highest order who is transitioning to become God. And in this transition, I would know this. I would know that everything I have accomplished was to remain a foot soldier of an unnamed, unknown, unseen God that gave birth to me for its own sake and not my own.
There was a deep silence within the cave's chamber as the two sank into deep thought and reflection. Alter scratched her head between her antlers.
You have invested so much into building your persona that it must feel like a free fall into illegitimacy to accept anything less than you are God. I will serve you, but I will serve you in my own way, because then and only then will you know that I am truly serving you. If I only do what you tell me to do, then I cannot represent who I am to what you are. I will set up the meeting you asked for, and I will do so with haste.
As she finished her words, she began to transform into a raven. The beast watched with great curiosity, wondering what would happen if she froze time during the transition from one form to the next. She decided to simply watch. Once the metamorphosis was complete, Alter, using a telepathic transmission, spoke her goodbyes and promised to return later that same day. She flew from the cave, noticing the drag marks of the two guards whose service had expired. She hoped she would not join their ranks.